Hi, everybody. We are coming in to talk to you about apologies and forgiveness in relationships. So this year has been hard on a lot of people. It's been hard on relationships. And especially if you're spending more time with each other, you may experience more tension, you may experience more conflict, and you may experience even more distance in your relationship, even though you're in more physical proximity together. And one of the things that's so important in resolving conflict and creating intimacy in a relationship is real embodied apologies and real embodied forgiveness, not the fakey stuff. So we're going to use a real life example because we always love to use real life examples from our relationship to show we are far from perfect. You know, P.S. when we first got together, when both of us had done so much work, we came in very arrogant. Like, we're both so conscious. We're going to have such a conscious relationship. We're never going to get in arguments.
That panned out well.
That lasted like a month. So you want to tell a little story?
Yeah, so we are both transformational coaches, or a title around that you would give us, right? And so I pride myself on making connections, on being able to see the unseen, to witness the unconscious, to make the unconscious conscious. And Christine was dropping some messages to me the last week, but I wasn't picking up what she was putting down.
Yeah, and I was like pretty overt about it. Specifically, so Christmas is a really big deal to me. I love the holiday season. It's my absolute favorite time of year. Last year we were in Australia for the holidays, which was lovely, but it's summer there, and they don't do Christmas like I like to do Christmas. It's sort of more like, let's go to the beach. And I like the cozy Christmas tree, hot chocolate, like all that kind of stuff. So I was very, and this is the first Christmas tree I've had in over 10 years. So I was very excited about the Christmas tree.
And I was excited about the Christmas tree as well, because most Christmases, the last quite a few years, I haven't even been home. I've either been in Indonesia, I've been in New Zealand, I've been away. I haven't been actually home for Christmas. And so it was a big deal to me as well. But I wasn't really able to see and feel how important this was to Christine. And I'm going to fast track a moment and fill in the rest of the story. But it wasn't until Christine looked at me in a great deal of humility and compassion,
with tears in my eyes,
a lot of tears in her eyes, and said, "My little girl is really hurt right now. My little girl is really hurt." And it wasn't until then that I was actually able to be sincerely sorry. I was able to actually go outside of myself for a moment and see that the actions that I took, although they weren't malicious, I had no intention to hurt her, but I actually hurt her. And the issue was that I was stuck in my defense because I could not see why she was making a big deal about this. I asked her to wait. I was going through all the reasons logistically.
Let's film the story. So basically what happened, because you're getting to the meaty teachy part, which is great. We got to film the juicy story part. So I was like the whole week, Sunday we're going to decorate the tree. And we went to a little friends gathering Sunday afternoon. And I was like, okay, we're going to leave because we're going to go home and decorate our tree. And I'm telling everybody we're going to decorate our tree. And I
thought she was just saying that because, I don't know, she wanted to leave.
I didn't leave. It was all really good friends. It was a really fun time.
Having fun,
playing pickleball, but I wanted to get home.
I wasn't in my body then.
Make the hot chocolate, get in like the season. And those of you who are like me, decorating a tree isn't a 2-hour thing. It takes some time. And I had all these ornaments that had been in storage for 15 years from my childhood. And I was so excited to unwrap him and tell him the stories about it. So we're driving home and he's like, so Colin invited me over to go play pickleball. And I was like, well, but we're decorating the tree. Well, we can do it after dinner. I really want to, I don't know how it went, but basically he went and played pickleball for 3 hours. And I was home drinking my hot chocolate, trying to have a good attitude about it. But I was really hurt. I was really hurt and I was really, really upset that it felt selfish to me that he went and did that versus really knowing that I needed that. Now, in his mind, he's thinking, well, we're just going to decorate the tree after dinner. It's no big deal. I'm still keeping my word.
Like I said, I wasn't connecting dots, and it didn't help that I was feeling a little frustrated anyway, and it had nothing to do with Christine. It had nothing to do with anyone else. I was just in an overthinking mood about life. I'm a contemplative guy. I think about things, big things, little things, and sometimes I get it's not overwhelmed, but I get burnt out on the thinking and the feeling. Mm-hmm. And I internalize that. Now, I'm saying this, I'm mentioning this because it's a really important part of this story and this sharing, is that I also internalized that and didn't communicate that to Christine. All I said was, I just want to have a hit out. I want to
It's like,
work.
I need to blow off some steam.
I want to blow off some steam. I feel frustrated. But that's it, right? And that
And I
wasn't
wanted to
enough.
support that. Like, I wanted to support that. But then when I got home and he left, it was like I really felt into, this was a big deal to me. And I felt like a word was broken and an agreement was broken. And to me, it felt selfish. But to him, it felt like he was keeping his word and he just needed to blow off some steam. And like, you know, that should be okay. And it is. But to my, and this is when we're going to get to the true apology and the true forgiveness. To my little girl, it felt like devastating. And this is when we know an inner child wound is activated, is when our reaction to something doesn't quite match the circumstances. So like the grown-up self could be like, okay, well, he'll go play pickleball, we'll do it later, whatever. But the little girl in me who loves Christmas and who wanted this experience with my husband for the first time, she was really devastated. And when he got home,
Well, I had attitude when I got home.
he got
anyway.
so much attitude when he came home.
No, but I had attitude as well.
Yeah,
you had it, and I had it.
You had more attitude. I had more
did.
hurt.
Yeah, I had a lot of attitude when I got home because I could feel Christine and I are close, and I can feel her, and I can feel when she's either upset at me or upset at something or disorientated or not feeling in balance within herself. And of course, I didn't make the conscious connection at the time, but I knew that it was, you know, because of what had transpired. And instead of stepping into that with a little more humility and calmness and patience, what I did was come in and be defensive. And I started attacking because that's what my little boy would do as well, or my teenage boy would do. So I came in and I said, "Oh, is this all you've done? Like, this is it? This is this is all you've done on the tree? Like,
Why doesn't it look like your mom's tree?"
But now, I didn't mean to be rude when I said that. What I meant was what I was thinking behind that statement. And this is what happens when we're triggered. We don't think clearly. We don't express clearly. But what I was thinking behind that statement was, oh, there are not a lot of ornaments here. We could do this really quickly. It's not going to be a long process. We're going to get it done. And I'm thinking, oh, we're going to get it done. It's going to be okay. But that's not what I was
how it came across. Because I know him and I know how he gets triggered, I had two choices. I could either start an argument or I could vulnerably express what's going on. And I said, You're being a jerk, and I think it's because
I fucking hate that term. It's because it's an American term, and I don't because I hate America. It's not that. I love America.
Maybe I said you were mean.
No, you said that.
Okay.
I personally don't like that word jerk because we don't use it in Australia, and I don't know, it just triggers me for some reason.
Well,
I feel it's really offensive.
I didn't know the degree of his relationship with this word, but I basically said, "You're being a jerk," and I think that's because deep down you know you hurt me. And you feel bad about it.
Now, that was completely true, but I didn't own that immediately.
No,
I didn't own that immediately, even though Christine was being very calm and vulnerable. I didn't own that immediately because I was stuck in some of my hurt, which is, why are you making a big deal about this? Why are you trying to control me?
Which is a childhood win for him.
That's right.
Being controlled, being told what to do, people expecting too much of him.
And what happens is when I feel that, I tend to just do more of what I think makes me feel free, which is basically doing whatever I want or basically going against what everyone else is saying.
Yeah.
So now we're really butting heads, right? And it's not that we're arguing, it's more that we're being silent with each other and not being real with each other.
We're both in hurt. And so here's what we wanted to speak on and teach on. This is when the apology and forgiveness, like an authentic apology and authentic forgiveness, comes into play. Because we could have been in this for a lot longer than we were. Because he kept saying, "I'm sorry, what do you need? I'm sorry, what do you want?" And I'm like, that doesn't feel like an apology. That just feels like you're frustrated and want to move on. And so, which was true, but I eventually got to, with, again, vulnerability, real tears in my eyes, just saying, my little girl was really, really excited, and I'm not angry at you. I'm just really, really hurt. This was a really big deal to me, and I'm really, really hurt. And that's the power of feminine vulnerability, is when we're kind of when somebody comes at us, like he wasn't coming at me in like a dangerous or mean way. He was just, because the masculine a lot of times can go into shame and shut down, and that can come off as standoffish. And if I would have met that with the same masculine, angry energy, we would have just been in this. So I had to really bring my heart forward and say, my little girl is really hurt. And that's when it finally got through to him, is when he saw the little girl in me who was so excited, and he realized, oh shit, I missed something. And then the apology was authentic.
Now, Christine's really good at, I'll tell you, you are really good at this, darling. You're really so open when you feel that I'm being real.
Yeah.
You are just so open in that space.
Yeah.
And you immediately surrender, and you immediately forgive as well, which is really beautiful.
Well, I contemplated it because...
I want to speak to that though.
Yeah.
Because this is an important point, and come back to that. Whilst I felt that you received that and you felt me being real, you still needed time to get over the hurt. And that, in my past, would have continued to trigger me. But I didn't allow it to trigger me this time. And what I mean by that is I knew that she had really felt and received that apology. Why isn't she different? Why isn't she now loving and open? Why didn't I just boom shift? Why didn't you just shift? And in the past, I would have then become angry at that, and I would have isolated and distanced myself even more. Mm-hmm. This time though, and having obviously just done a lot of deeper work on myself, I realised that this is going to take time, and I need to now be patient, and now I need to not take it personally.
Yeah.
Because if I did, I would continue to spiral in shame and guilt, which would continue to force us apart.
Yeah.
So I had to just keep leaning in, even though it was uncomfortable, even though she was receptive, but she was still really hurting.
I was still hurt. And I had to let that be okay. And he would ask me, what do you need? And I said, I need to feel your apology. I need to feel like you really understand why I was so hurt.
You also said, I need time.
And I also said, I need time. I just need time.
We need to understand that.
And so that's the first part that we wanted to share with you today, is like when there is something, and a lot of arguments or disagreements, two people need to apologize. In this one, it was kind of like he was in the position of apology. I was in the position of forgiveness. 3 days before, I said something really shitty to him where I was in the position of apology. And so it's not, we're just telling you this particular story. It definitely works both ways.
Oh, we should tell the other story.
This is already too long. We want to get to this. So I just know I definitely do and say things.
Oh, we will tell that story one day.
One day. So the point is, when you're in that situation, if you're the person that, you did something hurtful, even if you didn't know, but when you finally get, oh man, like, oh, my partner's really hurt, that authentic apology, not the apology with defenses, not the apology with excuses, not the apology, well, you should have made it more clear. None of that. Just the I'm sorry. I really get that this hurt you. I really get that this upset you. And then, for me, I said I need time. And there was a part of me that was a little angry, because with hurt, there's always some anger too. It was like, maybe I want to punish him for a little while about this one. And then I felt into it. And it's like, no, I don't like distance in our relationship. We're on the same team. I don't want to hold this over his head. Like, he owned it. He apologized. I needed a little time to navigate the hurt. But within 24 hours, open-hearted, I was right back. Less than 24 hours. Yeah. Because I wanted to truly forgive. And so that's the second part. The forgiveness is huge. And so when your partner, anyone in your life, actually apologizes, authentically forgive. Yeah, you may need a little time, but don't use it to your advantage. Don't hold it over their head. Don't sulk around about it or build resentment. Actually really choose, I'm going to fully forgive this and get close to my partner again. I'm not going to let this create distance between us, because that's not what either one of us want. And you've truly forgiven when the energy shifts. So I knew I'd truly forgiven, and I was done with my hurt when I was back, and my little girl was like, all right, like, I'm good again, and we're going to get some more ornaments and do the tree another time. So yes, that not holding a grudge is super, super key. And that a lot of that, when this is a two-way street, because he owned the apology and was very loving and affectionate and gentle with me, which is my little girl needs. And he just let me take my time. He didn't pressure me. He didn't say, anything to this is the other thing in relationship. You've got to be okay with your other partner not being okay sometime and needing that space. And that was a big thing you did. Like, you just held the space until I came back.
And a part of that is self-confidence and self-worth. Because in previous relationships, I wasn't able to do that. And I wasn't able to emotionally self-regulate. So what I did was disappear or repress those feelings or get really angry and project to the other person. But in this instance, I trust in our relationship, and I have enough self-confidence and self-worth that if she needs more time, if Christine needs more time, then Christine can have more time. It's okay. I'm not threatened by that. When we're in that pain, we're in that density, that's when doing our inner work, it helps us remove ourselves from the shame that binds us and keeps us in that set of circumstances. And the guilt and the feeling of, I am feeling threatened right now. Because I was for a period of time, maybe a few minutes, maybe half an hour, whatever it was. But I was able to shift from that because I'm committed to deeper work. I'm committed to this relationship. I'm committed to Christine. And I'm committed to love winning and not having to fucking be right all the time.
Yeah. Would you rather be right or would you rather be loving and loved? That's the key in any relationship. And so as you go through, holiday season, and as you go through this, time when you're in closer proximity, especially with your partner, and you have those conflicts, really think about that, like that authentic apology and that authentic forgiveness. Not the bullshit apology, not the bullshit forgiveness, because all you're doing is sweeping things under the rug. And we get a do-over on the Christmas tree. He asked me that night, well, let's do it now. And I was like, no, it doesn't feel good to do it now. And so we're going to have a do-over of it, and lesson learned, and we use all our arguments to help us grow. That's the purpose. No relationship is conflict-free. You evolve through conflict. But it's not about just getting through the conflict and brushing it under the rug. It's about actually learning from the conflict. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I just, on that piece, and I heard this in a podcast this morning, not a podcast, sorry, an audiobook that I'm listening, is that we experience freedom when we accept life exactly as it is. And that means, that's inclusive of the difficulty and the pain and the challenge and the fear. Doesn't mean we have to constantly choose that, but we have to accept that's a natural part of life, and that is integrating the wholeness. That is freedom, right? And I know that if I personally don't integrate that in me, if I don't really believe in that and then act in that way based on that belief, all I'm doing is trying to pursue this amazing version of our relationship. Right. That's not always going to happen. I'm always going to be disappointed, and I'm going to project that disappointment on you, which just causes further rifts and arguments.
Nobody's perfect. No relationship is perfect. No Christmas tree is perfect. Like there's no perfection. And so know that everything in your life is a growing opportunity. So release the expectations and the standards you have of yourself and others as well, because that's going to help you with the apology and forgiveness as well. When you let go of the pressure and expectations and the standards, it's so much easier to own your shit, learn from it, and then move on. And not move on by, like I said, brushing it under the rug, but move on because you've actually learned and grown through something. So we love answering relationship-y questions. If you have more, send me a DM and we'll put them on a list, and we'll do more relationship-y type stuff. We'll
do at least one or two a week.
And it doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship. Even single people, or if you're in a breakup, need help with any of that, we love. So send us your questions. We'll
see you soon, and this will be on IGTV, YouTube, Facebook, all the platforms. See you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.